Back? Yes, testing. All right. Hello, my guys, my dudes and dudettes. All right. So, there's a certain intensity that happened yesterday. I was describing. Uh, I think what I have to do basically at the moment, I was describing them as. I saw myself describing them as kind of like beneath me, and it's funny because as I was trying to going back, okay, so as I was trying to create the connection between my mind that's thinking about something and the physical world that it's not done yet. So I have to do it. In order for me to take a step forward in my thoughts, I kind of have to take a step forward in what I'm doing. There's this synergy, this duality that we're always experiencing and interacting with. So I was trying to explain why, and I kept pointing down on the ground, and it felt like because it seems like through society we value intellect more, but it's always the action that works. Like it doesn't matter how hard you think, if you're not able to produce anything from it, or people can't use it, then it kind of goes nowhere, right? And ultimately, like civilizations, as civilizations are evolving consistently, simply because why the fuck not? It's a game. Let's. I want to do this. I feel like this. I thought of this. I got inspired by this, and other people just kind of like do what they fucking want. At one point, we started kind of giving up and following people who wanted to do what they want, and we started kind of like finding jobs or that kind of stuff. But it hit me, and it was a bit heavy. And I did a video afterwards, which was contrarian versus instigated, which makes sense because it allowed me to see how to discuss things and how to separate things and how in order to approach them. But then I actually got to a video, and I was like, let's do it. Let's power through Tariq. Kindness and dignity. But the beauty of it is, I was tapped out. There was nothing left in my brain. It was a bit overwhelming, maybe, when I actually realized that I'm kind of like looking down on the stuff that I want to do. Because in my head, khalas, I understand how they're done. Why aren't they being done? And I don't know if this is a spoiled trait or this is how people go like he's spoiled or she's spoiled because the reference of being spoiled is basically somebody that gets what he wants or she wants without actually doing anything. Or I don't know if it's because I actually like I was growing up and whatever values that were trying to be imposed on me by my parents was a lot more values toward like be smart and stuff like this or think and use your mind and study and like be a good, strong, outstanding member of society and all that good shit. Sarcastically good shit, right? But good means adequate, so like I'm fine using it. So that's basically what came out, right? Because like I was actually having a discussion. So the discussion was really about kindness and dignity. And I felt like that split between like kindness and dignity is a lot harder for me to explain. Or at the very least, like because I'm referencing myself and reflecting on myself. So like, what is it that what does kindness give me that dignity doesn't, and what does dignity does? And again, like being treated with dignity and being treated with kindness, treating with dignity and treating with kindness, they can work together naturally. But I feel each one actually approaches something within us. And if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to dignity, you're being treated with a certain level of respect. But respect is not because you're a human being. You're being respected for you. I think that's dignity. When it comes to kindness, it's just you're being respected as a human being. It feels like dignity comes more with empathy and kindness comes more with sympathy, right? Because you never know what somebody else is going through. So what do? You be kind to them. But it doesn't matter. I understand what you might be going through, so I'm going to treat you with dignity. Kindness seems like a helping hand, while dignity seems like an empowering hand. And I used helping, right? Kindness seems like I'm here for you. Dignity seems more like I'm glad you're here, or I'm happy you're here, or I love the fact that you're here. Like It's targeting the presence that we have. And it's funny because like you can be kind to dogs and you can also like treat dogs with dignity, I guess. There are people when they're like dealing with their pets, they're very kind of like they're very baby like. And there are other people when they're dealing with their pets, they're very much having a conversation with them, right? Like, there's an actual back and forth. And I feel that's with dignity actually form a connection that allows you to see the other side as it truly is. But with kindness, I feel it's feeling like I actually have to, like kindness kind of like overcomes the things that are not really working or that are not really like supporting something. Kindness kind of like it's like the eraser, right? Like we did something wrong, you erase it, and then you do something again. That feels like that's what kindness does. Now we all in our lives kind of like need kindness, but I feel like kindness is when there's a traumatic event or when there's an event that's big enough that merits something beyond understanding. But dignity, I think it's a systematic thing. Like once a month you need kindness, but every day you kind of need dignity. And it feels like dignity has a lot more consistency with it and a lot more interactive approach for a positive, strong future. Whilst kindness is let us kind of like get over whatever's happening right now kind of vibe. Here it is, man. It really, you can't make this shit up. You really can't make this shit up. I don't know. So like this befuddled me yesterday. I literally, for like 5 minutes, kept ranting on about different things and found myself like just kind of like not able to speak. And then I basically decided not to upload the video or not to kind of like continue with the video. When I did that, I sat with myself for like 30 minutes. And then because I wasn't able to like make any decision towards anything, I knew that my mind needed to process some shit before I take a step forward. So I worked a bit, and that was fun. It was interesting to see how like the flow of work kind of catches on the minute I actually sit in front of the computer. And in a fucked up way, I kind of like avoid doing that. But hey, I have my new desk right now, which is a different setup. And all I have to do is stand and go sit over there, and suddenly I'm in that mood. So that's also like something that's like vibey. Why not? I don't know, dude. It really hit me yesterday. The whole you ever feel like every once in a while there are a few things that pop up that kind of like surprise you with the impact that they have on you. And for me, most of the time it's people, but because I self-actualize using people, like when I'm with people, I kind of like I'm selfishly interested to see how they became what they are, and that backfires when it's something that they kind of like are blocked on or don't want to talk about. But almost always kind of like shows me how what I'm thinking about varies and triggers me and kind of like inspires me or kind of like encapsulates some form of feeling, emotion, or just something that I'm trying to understand. But every once in a while, I'll be talking and then something kind of like pops up when I'm talking to you guys. And that kind of like makes me not re-question, but realign, right? It's like the feng shui of my mind after adding that thing goes all the way off. So, okay, so all right, pop culture reference. And for some fucking reason, man, I watched that episode. And it's like I think 20 years ago there was a series called like Ugly Betty, and there was a fashion show, and they were preparing for a fashion show. And what happened was they basically were They were building an outfit, and what happened was the outfit was like overwhelming. It's just like wasn't looking good. And when they were looking at each other, like, what should we do? And the little kid at the time was like, what's the law? Like, if take out the last thing you put in. And it seems like when they added the last item, I think it was a scarf or a belt, the whole thing got out of whack. So what they did was they removed it and it kind of like fell into place. And the reason I'm using that as a reference is because we can visualize ourselves like kind of like not really harmonizing with our clothes, I guess. And ultimately our choice becomes like pick a different outfit based on the centerpiece, or like shift the centerpiece, because if I really wanted to wear a pair of jeans, then I'm limited to the t-shirts. But if I really want to wear this shirt, then I'm limited to the jeans and stuff like this, or the trousers. And it's the same with your thoughts. Like every once in a while, something kind of clicks, and what happens is everything else is kind of like moving because it's not harmonizing. Feng shui, right? How a room is designed. Your mind is kind of like the same thing. So what happens is there's a moment like these where you take a step back and you kind of like, what the fuck's going on? And slowly, slowly, everything kind of like realigns itself in a way that it makes sense given the new piece of input that you added, the new piece of like evidence that you added. I would say evidence, because ultimately, like, we're learning everything in a process where we're unlearning. So we're in a process of discovery of the things that we thought we knew, and we're giving up on them through like diving deeper into them and just getting over them. Fun stuff. It's a video. Woohoo!